listening to your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
Klausotės savo smegenų eteryje. Programa prasidės netrukus. Mėgaukitės.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Your Brain on Air. I'm your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. And Sean Kingston, you might know him. He's a black king who may have done more for his race than MLK Jr., and I await his release from prison with open arms, just like I'm sure the rest of you do. Folks, if you haven't thought of him in a while, go listen to Beautiful Girls. It's a great song. Folks, I hope you're having a great, wonderful Thursday. It is December 11th. It's, the 11th of the month. We're blazing through it. Christmas is already on the way. Let's hope that you're getting those presents ordered. You know what I mean? It's all that I'm trying to stress people out as much as possible because I've realized some people, they need that. They need that little push forward. Otherwise, if you're like one of those, if you're a Christmas Eve shopper, which is what I tend to put myself in the category of, I enjoy the atmosphere of picked over shelves. I don't really love going out and taking care of things, in advance. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, and I know that some people are, and some people might eventually just not get gifts. So, if you need to do that, I would recommend taking care of that as soon as possible. Folks, just in general, I hope that you're having a great Thursday. It's a beautiful one. We're blazing through the month of December, and we have some brand new news to go along with this brand new day that we've been served. Folks, there's too much to get into, so I'm going to go ahead, quit yapping, and jump into our first story. Folks, if you're familiar with the Jihad Squad, or if you're familiar with, the thing that your uncle tweets about on Facebook, all that kind of jazz, it's a collection of brown women that make a lot of people, especially conservatives, very angry in Congress. And essentially, one of these people, not exactly like one of the main characters. She's not an AOC, but she's up there. Jasmine Crockett. She is an American lawyer and a Democratic politician. She is currently serving in the United States as the United States Representative for Texas's 30th Congressional District, a seat she first won back in 2022 and has held since January 2023. She was born in St. Louis, Missouri back in 1981. She earned a bachelor's degree from Rhodes College and a Juris Doctor from University of Houston Law Center before entering electoral politics. Crockett worked as a public defender then and a civil rights attorney, including founding her own practice and representing vulnerable clients. She also served in Texas's House of Representatives from 2021 to 2023, where she championed voting rights and criminal justice issues before she moved to the United States House. In Congress, she's known for her outspoken criticism of former President Donald Trump, advocacy on civil rights issues, and high-profile exchanges with Republican lawmakers. This recent filing everybody is talking about. It's our headline for the day, folks. Jasmine Crockett. You might know her as being the person that really upsets a lot of people, or maybe you love her, maybe you do. But Jasmine Crockett, folks, she's running for Senate now in Texas. And I'm sorry to say it, with a cringeworthy ad being her debut. Let's go ahead. It's framed in, one of these, square things that, I don't know if she went to film school or if she had, a real nerd help her out with this project. But this is, someone's, this is their final essay they turn in for a film class. Let's take a look at this 44-second ad.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
It's just a shot of her.
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble. But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
It's just zooming in on her.
Crockett. Oh, man. She's a very low IQ person. Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding. Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Crockett for U.S. Senate. And then it's over. Paid for by Jasmine for Texas. That's it. Yeah. it's not a good first ad. It's just leaning on attacks from your opponents. It's kind of a weird angle. She officially launched her campaign for the 2026 Senate race in Texas, filing just before the candidate filing deadline. Her bid positions her to challenge Republican Senator John Cornyn and represents a key effort by Democrats to flip a historically Republican Senate seat. One Texas Democrats have not won is in a statewide race since 1994. Her state Senate campaign now focuses on the March 3rd, 2026 Democratic primary, where she faces off primarily with State Representative James Tallarico after former candidate Colin Allred exited the race. I don't know what his issue was. He looks too old. I'm going to be honest with you. Crockett's campaign has drawn national attention not only because of its potential impact on the Senate, because of the power on the Senate's balance of power, but also because it tests whether progressive Democrat candidates can build broad coalitions across urban, suburban, and rural voters in deeply red states. I don't see it happening, I'm going to be honest with you. She's going in Texas. No one is really being sold on this. Listen, this is kind of the hotbed for Texas. You want to go to Thanksgiving with your family, you don't go to it in Texas. They're going to argue. I'm sure that they have good Tex-Mex. I'm sure they have really, really good, Southern-inspired food, but it's not going to be one for, progressive, tolerant conversation. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, he responded to it pretty aptly. That he started rubbing his hands together he just watched somebody drop a coin purse and he's a Jew. Look at this clip of him. He looks giddy.
Can I get your thoughts on Jasmine Crockett's run for Senate? What does it say about this?
He's smiling and he rubs his hands together.
I'm absolutely delighted that Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate in Texas. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened to the Republican Party in a long, long time. She is the face of the Democratic Party. She and Mamdani. Good luck with that. I want her to have the largest, loudest microphone that she can every single day.
By the way, he's right on that. He is actually really right about that. I'm absolutely delighted for Republicans on their side. I'm going listen, if you really, really want to sell Republicans a seat, go ahead and keep electing people that are just a little too left-leaning, especially try it in red-leaning areas. It's not going to work. If you try her in Austin, maybe if she lived in Austin long enough and she could run for mayor or something like that, keep testing low-level city-style races and then see if they plummet the city's quality of life. It's a city. It can be pretty deniable whether or not there's more homeless people by the end of the year. So it's malleable. That's what I'm saying, is keep going on the local level. Don't be doing these loud enunciations. I know it's personally how you get attention, but it's not good for your party.
And we look forward to having that election down there. We are going to elect another Republican senator in Texas. Texas is a red state. The people of Texas are common sense Americans, and what Jasmine is trying to sell will not be purchased by the folks of Texas. That is my prediction. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I think that he's right. I'm pretty sure that he's right. I'm sure that Texas, listen, this is the land of King of the Hill. They're going to look at this black lady who's coming and serving them mild democratic socialism, and they're going to say, that girl ain't right. And then they're going to say no, and then they're going to vote for the heavily red district. Listen, if you want to lose her seat in Congress, go for it. I don't know if you have anybody to replace her yet. I hope that you do for your sake, but otherwise we're going to lose that seat too. I don't feel great about this. Maybe she'll win. Maybe she will. I have no real clue. I'm not in favor of us electing or getting excited about these people who are fervent self-identified democratic socialists. They're not my favorite. She has a good track record on certain other issues that I look at and I go, okay, sure, you can be a civil rights attorney, you can be all of that. I don't view you as an authentic force for good. I'm sorry, not a lot of people do. You need to work on distancing yourself from the more radical members of your party before wide swaths of the American public are going to begin to trust you. Folks, I think we need to take a break for an ad. In this world of uncertainty, why settle for just ordinary protection? Subscribe to Cavalry Plus, the elite private security service delivering battle-hardened guardians right to your doorstep. Sourced from global hotspots, our roster features top-tier talent like Ukrainian specialists, neo-Nazis, Afghan veterans, and international operatives ready for any challenge. For just $99 a month, get on-demand muscle for your estate, event, or expedition. Unmatched loyalty, zero questions asked. Sign up today because peace of mind comes with firepower. Visit cavalryplus.com/YBOA. Please, this is a demo site, so I know that the traffic, we're only used to getting like 4 people a year, to be fair. This only premiered on the black web before this, okay? This is the first time they're going clean. So, go over to Cavalry Plus and get your private fucking military force today. You're gonna need it when the riots start. Let's jump into our second story. It's a little unfortunate, and I don't think anybody really wants to hear about it, but it's, I would say in case you are worrying about going to a sperm bank anytime soon in order to have a child, like if you rely on IVF or if you rely on insemination from exterior forces, this might alert you a little bit. A sperm donor in Europe with cancer-causing gene fathers nearly 200 children across the continent. A major investigative report published in December of this year by 14 European public broadcasters, including the BBC, revealed that an anonymous sperm donor from Denmark unknowingly carried a rare genetic mutation in his TP53 gene, a gene crucial for suppressing tumors. This mutation causes Frommeni syndrome, a hereditary condition that dramatically increases the risk of developing a wide range of cancers throughout life, often beginning in childhood and extending into adulthood. Up to 20% of this man's sperm carried this mutated gene, even though he passed all medical standard screenings and remained healthy himself. So, what this is telling you is that you cannot be sure of anything. Medical screenings aren't even 100% positive anymore. Every modern medical screening that they had in Denmark, which, let's be honest, I don't know what they have in Denmark, except for buildings that are really, really tiny. The hallways are shaped very much in thinned out arteries, like someone who's been smoking. You go to America and it's like nice, healthy people and then if you go over to Europe, everybody's been smoking, all their arteries and their veins are just constricted, the hallways, the rooms are tiny and whatnot. It's uncomfortable. Over a period of about 17 years, the donor's sperm was distributed by the European Sperm Bank, ESB, to at least 67, not funny, but kind of funny, fertility clinics across 14 European countries. Families using these samples conceived approximately 197 children. I mean, it's impressive work on his part that he remained that fertile. That's crazy, even though he carried a gene that likely increased his risk for cancer and shit. It's incredible that he was able to reproduce that much, you know what I mean? And investigators believe the true number may be even higher since not all countries have provided data. Some children have already been diagnosed with cancer and a few have died. Among the known cases, 23 children were confirmed to carry the TP53 mutation, and at least 10 of them have developed cancer. Christ, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. This is sparking alarm among medical professionals, ethicists, and families affected by the situation. Frommeni syndrome carries up to a 90% lifetime cancer risk, making early and ongoing monitoring crucial for carriers. Experts say that the case highlights gaps in genetic screening and sperm donation regulation, especially because TP53 mutations like this one wouldn't have been caught by routine tests by the time of donation. The ESB has stated it immediately barred the donor once the mutation was discovered and offered sympathy to the affected families. We are not going to offer anything in return for the fact that we gave you a baby that could be cancerous, but we're going to offer our extreme sympathies while acknowledging that the current screening could not have detected this rare mutation. I mean, if you're a test tube baby, go get tested right now, because you don't know about your own genetic profile, everything. And, is in all likelihood, you're probably cooked. I don't know. let's just take a look at this clip from the BBC.
To a fascinating story. It's the most read story on the BBC website through the course of today because a major investigation has revealed that a sperm donor who unknowingly harboured a genetic mutation which dramatically raises the risk of cancer has fathered at least 197 children across Europe. At least.
So all these kids are being born in July. All of these kids, it's crazy. Some of these parents, they're going to want Scorpios. They're going to want Libras. They're going to want, like, Tauruses. Listen, there's, like, 12 star signs. I don't know how many there are. There's, like, a lot. And, listen, Cancer, it already has the Tropic of Cancer. It has the crab logo. It's not that cool. We don't, listen, I'm proud to be a Cancer. I'm proud to be born in this time of year and whatnot. I'm proud of it. It's great. But I'm saying I kind of want to keep that specialty. I don't want all these children to be born in the same month as me. It's stupid.
10 children already have cancer and some have died. Denmark's
I think they're talking about the disease, actually.
European Sperm Bank, which sold the sperm, said families affected had their deepest sympathy. The sperm came from an anonymous man who was paid to donate as a student starting in 2005 and was used for 17 years until the problem was detected.
Jesus
the investigation involved 14 public service broadcasters, including the BBC as part of the European Broadcasting Union's Investigative Journalism Network. So let's speak to the head of that, Belén López Garrido, who runs that unit, and great to have you on the programme. This is quite an extraordinary story, so tell us more about what you found out.
It is extraordinary.
Well, what we found out was basically...
What I've noticed about the English is they'll say extraordinary. Like, normally Americans, when we say extraordinary, that we mean it was good. We mean that it was, like, really, really good. But the English over across the pond, they invented the language. They can do whatever they want with it. And essentially what I've noticed is that they will go ahead and they will say extraordinary to mean extraordinary. Extra meaning outside of or beyond the ordinary. So they will use it interchangeably for a tragic situation or a really good situation. They'll be like, it was extraordinary. The discovery was extraordinary. The discovery of this cancer-causing gene was extraordinary, and there have already been confirmed 10 cases of children that have cancer. It's like, it's not a great... They can do whatever they want with the language. I'm just saying, other people have a definition of extraordinary. Whatever, it's okay. It's okay.
As you mentioned, over 17 years, sperm from one donor was made available through 14 clinics, through 67 clinics, in 14 in countries. And what this resulted in, by our account, and we think this is an underestimate, is that at least 197 children have been born from this one donor. Now, unknown to this donor, unknown to the sperm bank until 2023, there was hidden in a very small percentage of his sperm cells, there was a gene mutation, a mutation of the gene TP53, and basically what this mutation does is it cancels your natural defenses against cells becoming cancerous or tumors growing. So obviously a very high risk for these children if they've inherited this mutation, because it's not present in every single sperm cell, so a very high risk for them of cancer.
The obvious question is how this happened, because presumably even back in 2005 there must have been screening, wasn't there? And you said in that answer that the numbers so far are probably an underestimation. So what do you think the numbers could get up to?
Well, I can't speculate on the number. What we know is what we have said, that it is at least 197. However, we do know that the sperm was shipped to some countries where we haven't had the information from the authorities as to the number of children born through fertility treatment in those clinics in those countries. That's how we know it is an underestimate. Now, how could this happen? Again, it is, we have to be careful as well on not blaming in any case the donor who couldn't know this, but also the test. I mean, this mutation is hidden in a very small percentage, as I said, up to 20% of the sperm cells in his body. He is not himself sick. It is not present a mutation in the rest of his body, so really very difficult to detect. And even though there were medical tests, and he passed all of these medical tests, you cannot do a full genetic sequencing for every sperm donor, or the costs would simply make it impossible for people to actually use these techniques.
Okay, so I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of people are gonna go, well, okay, so we have a bad batch of eggs. You know what I mean? You know, when you pull the eggs out of the fridge and you're like, oh shit, well, I can't make any of these. You scrap them, you throw them in the garbage. I would say this: those eggs aren't bad. Go ahead and put out a notification to everybody who has Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and say, hey, moms out there, real Gypsy Rose mom types, come on over to Denmark. We have bad eggs. We have bad sperms, and they have cancer. If you impregnate yourself with one of this man's sperm, I promise you that you, ma'am, you will have the sickest child, I mean feeding tube at age 3, wheelchair by age 4, glasses by age 5. It's gonna get worse from there. You will have all the attention. You will only be known as a good mother because you're so, oh look, she didn't kill it. That's what every person with Munchausen syndrome by proxy thinks. That's what they want. I think that we still have a business here. We still have an opportunity to make a buck because those aren't bad eggs. People would, and how cruel of you as a person to be like, oh, it's going to have such a diminished quality of life. Why would we even want it to live? Or why would we even want to use it? Hey, I believe life begins at ejaculation. I don't believe in this life begins at conception bullshit. That's why I believe that using a sock is immoral. It's disgusting. It's not okay. It's not Christian. It's not right. That's why you need to go in the toilet, because then they can swim to the ocean. At least that's what Grandpa used to tell me. Anyways, folks, I think we need to hop into the fucking rapid fire section of today's headlines. There's too goddamn much to cover, so I think we got to hop right into it. We got the U.S. seizing a Venezuelan oil tanker amid escalating tensions. U.S. forces backed by the Coast Guard and FBI seized the tanker Skipper off Venezuela's coast, loaded with sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. Caracas condemned the action as international piracy, heightening fears of military buildup in the Caribbean. You know, I didn't even know that Caracas was still an organized city to the point where they could offer decrees. That's like hearing Avalon or like Atlantis offered a decree. It's like, wait a minute, aren't you under the sea? Like, aren't you like not even real or organized anymore? Whatever. Federal Reserve cuts interest rates for the third time, this year. We talked about this. They've lowered interest rates by a quarter point in their lowest since 2022. In a split 9-3 vote, this aims to boost the economy but signals concerns over the inflation and growth rate. Mortgage payments on a $500,000 loan could drop by about $100 monthly. Trump threatens Colombian President Gustavo Petro over regional policies. President Trump warned Petro that he'd better wise up or he'll be next amid U.S. pressure on Latin American leaders aligned with Venezuela's Maduro. The remark follows Trump's criticism of European-Ukrainian handling ties to its border and anti-leftist rhetoric. You know, I think if we're going to be pressuring Latin American countries, we should pressure all of them. Why not just like take over most of Latin America, turn it into a big resort? We already have that with the entire state of Hawaii. That's pretty much it. The state of Hawaii is just a big resort, and I love that. I love the fact that we took over a state that was an independent kingdom, in order to just kind of build little casinos and things like that. I think that that's fine. Russia downs hundreds of Ukrainian drones as peace talks with advance in Moscow. Reports have intercepted over 200 Ukrainian drones in a single night. The largest barrage yet have been taken down, while indirect peace plan discussions continue with Europe. NATO's Mark Rutte aligned allies to prepare for scale of war our parents endured. Wow. Not fun. Time Magazine, these fuckers, they've been around for the longest time, and they always do this. They always have something brand new with this Person of the Year. It used to be Man of the Year. Does anybody remember when it was Man of the Year, by the way? It used to be Man of the Year for the longest time, and now it's Person of the Year, even though they barely picked women. I'm just going to be honest with you. Time magazine, they've named AI architects as 2025's Person of the Year. Leaders behind the AI boom, including figures from OpenAI and Google, grace the cover for Revolutionizing Industries. And they're gonna, and like, this is the greatest thing to happen since we put the coal miners out of a job. The honor highlights AI's rapid rise, but sparks debates on ethics and job displacement. I mean, yeah. Where do we even start? The U.S. House passes a $901 billion Defense Authorization Act. The NDAA funds military priorities, including drone tech and Pacific deterrence, but NTSB chair warns that it could compromise D.C. aerospace safety. Oh no, that's not fun. The bill advances amid Trump's push for stronger global posturing. I mean, yeah, let's just start doing military parades, like, in the street. Why not? Deadly airstrike hits Myanmar hospital. I mean, what did the hospital do to them? Like, what did they do to deserve it? That's what we have to start asking. A nighttime attack on a hospital in conflict-hit Myanmar left 34 dead and 80 injured, drawing international condemnation. It's the latest escalation of the civil war. UN is calling for intervention. That's, do something. I don't know what else to say. 18 have also been killed in Arunachal Pradesh truck accident from Assam. A truck carrying 21 people from Assam's Tinsukia district plunged into a gorge, killing 18 and leaving 3 missing. I mean, they're down a river somewhere. I don't know. And our final headline, Epstein files face audit over tampering, fears the Senate Democrats. And survivors demand the DOJ review the Jeffrey Epstein's case records before release, citing potential scrubbing or gaps. A third-party audit has been urged to ensure transparency in the high-profile scandal. They'll review them. They'll review them one final time just to make sure that they got all the names out. But in terms of like a third-party review, give up. Surrender, it's not going to happen. Folks, we have one final story, and I'll go ahead and I'll get out of your hair. It's a relatively short episode today, but I apologize for that. There's just, you know what I mean? Some episodes is going to be like that. Some days the words are just going to flow, and that's going to be how it's going to be. And plus, we have one more story, and so don't complain. We got one more day. You got me for one more day. We got Friday. Like, subscribe if you want more. Like if you liked it. That's the usual. But folks, our final story that we're going to cover today is that Chernobyl's protective shield is not working after the drone strike that happened recently. If you don't know, the new safe confinement, the NSC, a massive steel sarcophagus built over Reactor 4 at Chernobyl's nuclear power plant, is set to contain radioactive material from the 1986 disaster. It has lost its primary safety functions, though, including its ability to confine radiation after being damaged in a drone strike on February 14, 2025. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, announced following a recent inspection the protective shield was completed in 2019 at a cost of over 1.5 billion euro. It's not American money, so it doesn't really matter. As part of an international effort to safely enclose the most dangerous remnants of the world's nuclear reactor accident, the strike reportedly created a hole in the structure and sparked a fire, degrading the outer cladding and insulation that are essential to its containment role. While the load-bearing frame and monitoring systems remain intact, the inspectors have concluded that without a full restoration, the structure can no longer perform its intended protected function. Importantly, though, no radiation leakage has been detected so far. The measured radiation levels around the site remain within normal levels, according to the IAEA and Ukrainian authorities. The structure's compromised ability to confine material doesn't mean radioactive contamination is currently spreading or leaking out or anything. Rather, it significantly increases long-term risks. Over time, exposure to the elements such as humidity, temperature changes, and corrosion could further weaken the shelter and potentially allow radioactive dust or particles to escape if underlying sarcophagus or internal materials shift or deteriorate. Essentially, though, we've had this thing shattering up in the sky for ever since. A couple months from now, it'll be a year. February 14th, it'll be a full year since this thing got hit. We don't really have a frame of window for when it will become a real problem that we're all going to start hearing about on the evening news, but I think it's important enough that we just all take a look at this clip.
The UN's International Atomic Energy Agency made a troubling announcement on Friday. Chernobyl's protective shield is no longer working. The containment hangar was meant to seal in radioactive material from the nuclear plant's number 4 reactor. It was finally completed in 2019 and has been doing what it was built to do. But after a drone armed with heavy explosives struck the shield in February of 2025, the structure suffered heavy damages. Ukraine said Russia is responsible for the drone attack, a charge that Russia denies. Chernobyl is situated in Ukraine, which was part of the Soviet Union at the time of the accident. In 1986, a devastating explosion destroyed the reactor, spreading radioactive material far and wide.
If anybody remembers the HBO television show that came out of this, it was fantastic. Incredible acting, incredible everything that came from those actors. I loved it. It was really, really good. But it's terrifying, and if you were alive at the time, you probably remember hearing about it on the news. If they don't get this under control, though, I would say that the long-term safety of the site is probably the most vulnerable, but honestly, who's going to the site anytime soon? If you're one of those YouTubers who cannot think of original content and just needs to explore places like Chernobyl and whatever in order to get another million whatever views, think of something else, please. It's for your own good.
Disaster contributed to untold cancers and health problems and turned the nearby city of Pripyat into a ghost town. It is
Pripyat. It's Pripyat. Jesus Christ. You don't even have to have a Russian accent to pronounce Pripyat correct. It's Pripyat.
Considered the world's worst nuclear disaster and the most expensive disaster in history. And it doesn't seem to be over yet. The IAEA recommends renovations to fix the shield so that it can once again contain radioactivity from a 40-year-old nuclear accident. This is Inside Edition Digital.
I mean, what other option do we got? I'm just going to ask them. What other option do you guys suggest? Because otherwise, do you just leave it? Do you just leave it? It's like that time that you ran over the curb and then you're just like, fuck, my bumper's fucked. Just leave it. Whatever. Leave it. Leave it. I guess that's going to be our motto. Leave it. I like it, folks. It seems as though leadership in Russia hasn't changed much since the Soviet Union. People are still getting disappeared and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot less bread lines mostly because they can't organize them very much anymore. But folks, we had a wonderful day of news. I hope that you have a great one. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We have Friday's broadcast, and then I'm going to catch you Monday with their news stories. Whatever that may hold. Whatever the future holds, folks, I look forward to discussing it with you on this show. I look forward to bringing it to you and serving it to you hot and fresh out the kitchen. But in the meantime, this has been Ollie Vogt Larson with Your Brain on Air. Thank you so very much for listening, and bye-bye.